Is the Trump administration poised to remove gun rights from millions and millions of Americans? Well, they're sure going to try. Before we get started here, I want to remind everyone to subscribe and sign up for all notifications on this channel. This channel is restricted by YouTube, so I'm counting on you to help us survive YouTube's anti-2A bias. Hey everybody, Yankee here. If you haven't been paying attention, you might have missed the fact that the president, this pro-gun Trump administration, they are trying to strip gun rights from millions and millions of Americans. Not because they've committed heinous crimes or anything like that, but because they can be shown to have used marijuana, that they were or are an illegal marijuana user. If that's the case, they want the Supreme Court to side with them that the Justice Department can deny you your constitutional rights to buy a firearm if they can show you're a proven drug user, marijuana user. Now, a lot of you right now be like, well, they said illegal. They're just going after the junkies. That doesn't mean me. No, that's just them muddying the water. If you've got a marijuana card, you might think, well, I'm exempt. That's medical. It's prescribed to me by a doctor. No, federally, that's still illegal. Or you might live in a state like I do, where you can go down and buy it at the store on the corner. You might think, well, it doesn't mean me. I go down and buy it legally. Nope, means you, because still federally that's illegal. And Donald Trump wants all marijuana users to be barred from exercising their Second Amendment rights. If the government can show you're a known marijuana user, you would lose your rights. And you might be like, well, how would they prove that? Well, have you ever been to rehab? If anybody's ever been to rehab, they could say, they're right there. We're yanking your rights from you, even if it was voluntary. Have you ever bought marijuana at a dispensary? Well, all they'd have to do is go to those dispensaries, get all the records, use the surveillance cameras, check driver's tags or license tags outside. Watch you go in, buy it, go out. They can seize all those. Because if the Supreme Court says, yeah, you can take their rights away, well, then they have every right to go in and seize those records. Because if they have to enforce the law, they can go enforce the law. There'd be nothing stopping them from getting those records. They'd even be getting medical records for people prescribed marijuana. Because they would say, well, the doctor was engaged in a criminal act, the patient's engaged in a criminal conspiracy with the doctor, therefore it's not covered by privacy laws, so we need the records. And then they get your whole medical record, just to prove that you used marijuana, and they can take your gun rights away. And I don't know why so many pro-gun groups and pro-gun people are okay with it. The only thing I can figure is because their Lord and Savior Trump is doing it, and they seem to bow down every time he does something and go, oh, it seems like it's anti-gun, but he just works in mysterious ways. He's playing three-dimensional chess. He's not even playing checkers. He's just playing you for a fool. That's what he's playing. So I don't understand why people aren't balking against this. This is horrible. To give the government the right to remove your constitutional Second Amendment right because they can prove you used a substance that might be prescribed to you by a doctor or might be legal in your state. That's horrible. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, yeah, but Trump said he was going to make marijuana legal. Well, what he says and what he does tend to be different things. They said during the first campaign that, they were going to be marijuana friendly. What happened when they got in? Jeff Sessions created a task force, drew up all the plans to go after all the marijuana dispensaries, medical and recreational, in the states that had legalized it. He was cracking down on them, was already in motion. Then luckily he got in trouble with Trump and got ousted, and that got waylaid, or else we'd already been seeing a big crackdown on it. So they were not friendly to marijuana in the first administration, even though they said they were going to be. So they said they were going to be friendly again this term, but they ain't seen nothing yet. In fact, this is very anti-marijuana. Just saying that the fact you used it can take away your Second Amendment rights, that doesn't sound marijuana friendly to me. Doesn't sound freedom friendly to me, personal choice friendly to me. But like I said, so many of the people on the right are so okay with it as long as Trump did it. If Trump did it, I'm okay. Take my rights, Trump. Here they are. All these people that yell revolution all the time, like I have on my shirt here, I think the first time Trump said, hey, give me your guns, it's part of my plan. You give me all your guns, I'm going to stockpile them somewhere. I think most of them would turn their fucking guns in because they're borderline retarded. And that's the only thing I can figure why they'd be okay with this. You know, I guess some people are just evangelicals and they think, oh, the devil's lettuce. Of course they shouldn't have rights. They partook of the devil's weed. You know, that kind of thing. But that's not how we run our government. And that's got nothing to do with freedom of choice. In fact, it's the opposite of freedom of choice. Marijuana is less harmful than alcohol in every way. So what if their next step was, anyone's ever been convicted of an alcohol-related crime or even just can be a confirmed alcoholic, if it's the way they want to do this, well, we're going to take their gun rights away. That's the kind of thing you're opening the door for with this. Because like I said, alcohol is a far worse drug than marijuana. Now, I know the Trump administration has said that, well, maybe we'll move it from class 1 to class 3. And people are like, well, see, then it wouldn't be illegal. No, it'd still be illegal. It would just open it up for more medical research. But you could still be charged with having it. State laws could still get you for having it. Federal laws could still get you for having it. And they'd still be able to take your gun rights away. So the bigger pharmaceuticals that want to make money off of it would be able to make money off of it. You know, because they've been hampered on that up till now. They'd be able to use it like crazy, make billions off of it. And take it out of the hands of the smaller industry that's running it now. And the big pharmaceuticals would love that. They'd love to strip that away from the citizens that run it now and take it for their own. And that's pretty much all that would do. So they are not marijuana friendly. And they're not gun friendly. If they would use marijuana, no matter how you feel about marijuana, to strip you of your Second Amendment rights, that should outrage you. You should be totally against this. I don't know why so many people are like, it's okay with me. I don't care. I don't want people smoking marijuana. I don't do it, so they don't need to do it. Well, I don't do it either. I live in a state where I can literally just go down to the corner store and buy it. And I can buy as much as I want. I can go to multiple stores in a day. I can go in and out of the store all day and buy as much. I can buy as much enough to, I don't know, get a mule high or a moose. But, you know, I don't do it. I'm a teetotaler. I don't drink alcohol even. I don't even have a beer. Only thing I do is prescription meds. And not even like prescription meds, you know, uppers, downers, you know, stuff that the administration seems to love and all the politicians seem to love, along with their Alzheimer's medications. I just take stuff for my blood pressure so my head doesn't pop off, and stuff for my diabetes so I don't lose my foot. You know, that's about all I take. Well, I do take something for my autism, too, for my OCD. But that doesn't, not mood altering at all. But like I said, I don't do anything. I'm teetotaler. I do take drugs that are prescribed because I'm old, and if I didn't, I'd die. But I don't do anything recreationally. And I don't do marijuana at all. I don't like it. I don't like alcohol. Like I said, part of the tism is I'm a control freak. I don't like losing any measure of self-control. It bothers me too much. So, teetotaler. But I still recognize the fact that people should have personal freedoms to do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting anybody, especially with something that's not dangerous. And I also don't think the government should have the right to remove your rights, especially if you've never even seen the inside of a courtroom. If they can just pull records to show you have a medical card, or that you've been to rehab, or that you've bought marijuana at a dispensary legally, any of those things, you don't even have to see the inside of a courtroom. You could just receive a letter in the mail saying, you are hereby notified that your rights have been suspended because you're a known marijuana user. Next time you go to the gun shop, that might be when you find out. When you try to buy your gun, it says denied. Because they put you on a list. And then good luck getting off of it, even if you've never used marijuana. Remember the no-fly list and how they were all putting their enemies on the no-fly list just to teach them a lesson? And luckily they were rich and powerful and could get themselves off. But they did that to littler people too. There's still people that are still on it that never did anything wrong. Imagine if they had a no-buy list just simply because you were known to use marijuana. They could put as many people on there as they wanted. You know, you work for the wrong campaign. You say the wrong thing on social media. You could end up on a list where you can't buy a gun. And you'd have to prove you don't use marijuana. How are you going to do that? It's going to be hard. So like I said, this is heinous. There's no other word for it. It just illustrates how this administration is not pro-gun. They would not go after your gun rights over something as ridiculous as marijuana use if they were. Stop pretending like they are. All these Trumpers need to stop putting their fingers in their ears and pretending like he's pro-gun, that he's on our side. He's not. None of the politicians are. Right, left, center. None of them. Third parties, they're a joke because no one will seriously vote for them, so all the third parties in this country are is just money-making schemes for weirdos. So stop pretending that this administration is pro-gun. It isn't. Stop pretending they wouldn't take your rights because they've made it clear they want to. Stop pretending they're on your side. They're not. There's only one group of people they're on the side of. That's the billionaires and the big corporate interests. And moving, like I said, moving it from 1 to 3, that would be a big giveaway to the corporate interests. But it would be nothing for us. And that's because they are not on our side. They are not pro-gun. They are not pro-freedom. They are not pro, having your own say in your life. They're pro you doing as you're told. And if you don't do as you're told, they will punish you and they will take your rights away.